Hey adventurers, so today is going to be another book review. This is going to be for A Crown of Swords by Robert Jordan. This is the 7th book in the Wheel of Time. And yeah, so this is epic fantasy, high fantasy, whatever the other subgenres are that I have talked about for this series. Yeah, let's get into this. So A Crown of Swords, as I just mentioned, is the 7th book in the Wheel of Time series by Robert Jordan, and it really follows 3 main storylines. As always, I'm most invested in Rand's storyline, but the other 2 are significantly less interesting, but they're not horrible, and that's really nice to say. After my issues that I've had with this series, it's really nice to say that I'm enjoying essentially all the storylines that are happening in this book. My major complaint with this series so far has been how annoying and frustrating some of the characters are, namely the chapters specifically from the female characters' perspectives, and how those chapters tend to be the hardest for me to get through, almost to the point of DNFing the series several times. That is improving though. As much as I don't love the choice regarding Egwene in the previous books, and I find it implausible, it has actually led to some really good storytelling, really politically interesting storytelling for this world, and that's great. Also, Egwene is far less frustrating than she ever has been before in this book, and I am actually not minding her chapters now. Like, I'm enjoying the story that's going on when her chapters are happening, and that's great. The same goes for Nynaeve, although less so. She's a little bit more annoying than Egwene still, but she's also improving. I feel like Egwene and Nynaeve's stories here are less important to the fight of the coming last battle in many ways, but far more important to the world itself, if that makes sense. It may not make sense, because I'm not even entirely sure what I'm trying to say there. But they are both a bit more boring and convoluted than Rand's storylines, but there's absolutely some interesting things about those 2 storylines for the story of this series as a whole. And so I'm enjoying them, it's just not as much as I'm enjoying Rand's. Speaking of which, Rand's story, as always, is what I'm loving about this series. Minus the weird stuff with his love interests. That's unnecessary and weird as well. But he has about 3 major things that he's attempting in this book to deal with, plus a whole slew of other things, of other minor things that are happening to him. And seeing him attempt to juggle them all while maintaining his sanity and actively protecting himself and fighting back against the forces of the Dark One, it's great to see. It's epic fantasy at its finest in many ways. It's what epic fantasy is supposed to be. We're finally getting some payoff for things that have happened in book 1 and that are just now, well, I think this book and the previous book, that are just now coming back into play. Things that almost act as if they were going to be forgotten or just kind of set off to the side and not really worried about ever again. And so it's nice to see those coming back. And in general, this world is getting bigger and more dangerous to our main cast of characters. Overall, this is one of the better books in the series, in my opinion. I like the directions that we're heading, and I'm seeing more and more moments of good storytelling in this series. It's just unfortunate that it's taken 7 books to get here, or 6, because I really liked book 6 as well. But this is probably top 3 or 4 in the series as of right now. I think my favorite is book 6, and then book 1, probably 7, and then 5. So it's probably my 3rd favorite of the series to this point. I've read 8, but I don't remember where 8 sits. In terms of the books that I've reviewed, it's probably 7 or it's probably the 3rd favorite of the ones that I've reviewed. Let's put it that way. So, yeah, it's Wheel of Time's getting better. I'm actually enjoying it at the moment. Thank you guys for watching an Erudite adventure. We post videos every Monday and Thursday and have our social medias linked in the description down below. We will see you guys again soon. Stay warm.